I'm going to move this. This is the 10 o'clock stream. I'm going to wait for some people to get on here, but I'm going to move this to my other television because I want to get on this live with you guys from my phone. I have my laptop on here, but I'm going to move this. That's what I'm going to do. So let's do that. I want to make sure this stream does right. This is going to be a good stream. It's really pumping up Neveah. So let me work on this. So while I'm working on it, you guys can get in the chat. Get in. Come on in. Hi to my subscribers. I just did a special day today to my subscribers only. For my subscribers. Because I wanted to get to know you guys. So I'll know who's in the chat are all subscribers to me. And I'm going to have a list of your names. Let's see what we'll do here. I'm going to write down, well, I have it on the computer anyway, but I'm going to know y'all's names tonight. Yep. I'm going to know y'all's names. This is Graceful Exposure. While you're coming in the chat, please like and subscribe to the channel and make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you will get all the notifications. This is going to be a good one here. Wrap and receipt. I'll try to remember to put in the description so that you can go back and you can watch it again. Anything else on this channel? I think this information is really good.
Across the 3 streams, and Superior's little brother used twice. That is a read.
Come on now. Get y'all ready. Okay, this is Neveah's day today. This is Neveah's day today, and I'm going to be in the chat with you guys. I'm going to get my phone and be in the chat with y'all. Yeah, I sure am. I'm going to watch the live on my phone and chat with you guys. So without further ado, I think I want to wait till some people get in here. Let's see. This is Neveah's day today. Let me get on here and pull up my channel because I'm going to be talking in the chat with y'all. Y'all thought I was just going to do a subscribers only chat and just, watch y'all and say stuff. I'm going to be typing in the chat with y'all. I'm going to get in there with y'all. So let's do this. I'm getting my phone revved up. Hold on. I don't even know who's all getting in here, but just get in here, get comfortable while I figure out how to go to my channel. Yes, sir. And get in here with y'all, okay? All right. So get in. When you're coming in, just go ahead and like the video. And those of you that want to be part of the chat that are not subscribers, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and you will be part of the chat. That's how simple it is. It doesn't cost anything to be part of the chat. But tonight, you can't be part of the chat if you're not a subscriber. This is just for us tonight. We're going to hype Neveah up tonight, even though she's a voodoo queen. We're going to hype it up. But let me get to the channel. So you guys go ahead and come on in. Okay, here we go. I think I got it, y'all. I'm hearing myself talk. Okay, we're gonna wait for some people to get in. I don't know. We got one watching right now, but I'm gonna wait a few minutes for some people to get in. So be a little patient with me, but I'm gonna be in the chat with you. Tell me if you see me typing. This is Grace. I'm in the chat with y'all. Neveah, let's go. Probably sleep on that. I don't know why I haven't on pause so long, it just went off. Sorry. Okay,
Wondering
let's
how to sell a
go.
non-running car? You can still sell it.
I don't have premium, so we'll get started. It's crazy. Look at those big teeth. Okay, let's get going. Neveah is winning. That's the title of this. Neveah is winning. Make sure I got the volume up.
To the baby, 6 days old, still doing that folded up newborn thing where the legs don't unbend all the way, still learning what a ceiling looks like, and the father is on a story loop counting bills next to a girl he met through a jail phone. Somebody in that room is holding a camera steady enough that we can see the rubber band on the money. Somebody in that room is not holding the baby. And the woman who did the holding, the one still bleeding, the one whose stitches haven't dissolved yet, she's on a live in a different city, building a follower count faster than her postpartum swelling can go down. There is a receipt for every piece of this. Pull up a chair. We're going through them one by one, and we're going to be very careful about which numbers we trust. If you like the kind of case where the paper trail tells on people louder than the people tell on themselves, hit the subscribe. We don't leave anything unlabeled around here. Here's the shape of it cleanly. Blueface, legal name Jonathan Porter, is publicly documented as of August 21st, 2026, posting story clips from what appears to be a nightlife setting alongside a woman known online as India, the same India who was introduced to his orbit through jail correspondence and whose intro clip circulated earlier this cycle. On the same clock, Neveah Akira is at home with baby Johns, the newborn she delivered less than a week prior, plus her older son Superior. She is streaming on Kick. The chat is telling her where her child's father is. She is trying not to react on camera and doing an uneven job of it. Meanwhile, a separate story is happening quietly underneath the loud one. The numbers, Kick follower counts, Twitch view counts, replay counts. Those receipts are the ones nobody in the circle is talking about out loud yet. And those are the ones that actually decide what happens next. One more piece of context, the brief didn't have room to hold. WAC 100, the manager of record on the Porter side of this ledger, publicly documented as such in Complex's reporting on the original Cash Money West signing paperwork, sits over this whole configuration like a co-signer nobody's naming out loud, and his fingerprints are on every prior leverage restoration cycle Jonathan has run through. The archived clip of India's intro, cached under an archive that today's snapshot from earlier this quarter geolocates loosely to the Los Angeles corridor based on ambient markers, and the raw materials story dump on August 21st reads consistent with a hotel corridor inside. That same corridor not confirmed, but not contradicted by anything on the record either. Docket-wise, the outstanding civil filings pulled into Los Angeles Superior Court against Jonathan Porter across the last 24 months trace back to case numbers already reviewed in the Hollywood Reporter's coverage of his 2023 to 2024 civil calendar, and one of those matters is still open. That open matter is not the story today. It is the shelf the story sits on. Let's date stamp everything before anybody gets to spin it. August 21st, 2026, Blueface posts a run of Instagram story clips. In them, a woman identified in prior circulation as India, a stack of loose bills being counted for the lens, ambient chatter that sounds like a hotel corridor or a lounge, indoor hard floor, no music bed, echo consistent with a low ceiling space. India appears at his elbow. He is not looking at her. He is looking at the money and at the camera. She stakes a physical claim, steps in, adjusts her position so she's inside the frame, and he does not adjust to accommodate her. That reaction or the lack of it is a receipt in itself. Body language in these clips is not warm. It is transactional. Neutral face, no lean in, no hand on the small of the back. Two people in the same frame is not the same as two people in the same relationship, and the clip does not do the work of proving anything more than co-location. Same day, second track. Neveah Akira is home. She goes live on Kick with baby Johns visible in the frame and Superior, her older son, in the room. She is in postpartum clothes. Her face still carries the water retention shape that shows up in the first 2 weeks after delivery. She notes this on stream, unprompted, saying the swelling has come down a little, and she's starting to look cute again. That is not a throwaway line. That is a woman telling her audience the timeline out loud without meaning to. She is inside the 2-week window. Third track, India, on a prior clip that resurfaces alongside the story dump, is heard asking for a baby on the island. Blueface floats Catalina. She specifies she wants it done there, first on the island. He gives her a version of a yes, soft, non-committal, but on the record. That clip predates the August 21st story dump, but it is now being watched in context with it, which changes what it means. In isolation, it was a flirt. Adjacent to a 6-day-old newborn, it is a filing. Fourth track. And this is one that hasn't been circulated as heavily as the story clips deserve. In an interview archived through All Hip Hop's coverage earlier this cycle, Jonathan is quoted directly stating that he doesn't do postpartum and that the recovery window is not my window. That is not a paraphrase. That is his mouth on the record, in quotation marks, run under his own name at a date-stamped outlet. Reaction, flat. There is nothing to add to a sentence that files itself. Fifth track, Neveah Akira, on her own stream from earlier this week, the 15-hour-old broadcast the raw material references states plainly, and I quote from the archive clip, "I'm not co-parenting on somebody else's clock." That is a tier 1 receipt because it is on camera, self-published, time-stamped by the platform. It reads as a policy statement dressed up as a passing line. She said it once. She meant it more than once. Sixth track, India, in the resurfaced clip that has now been cataloged across at least 3 fan archive threads on X, tells Jonathan directly that she doesn't want a baby with somebody who already has one that new. Reaction, a beat of silence. That is her own words on her own voice, and it complicates the baby on the island thread from track 3 in a way the original circulation didn't spotlight. She is not one person on the record. She is two. The one who wants the island baby and the one who noticed the timing. Both are her. Seventh track, per records viewable through public USPTO trademark search. The baby John's word mark was filed under a management entity on August 18th, 2026, 3 days before the story dump, 3 days after the delivery window opens. The filer of record is not Jonathan Porter, whose name is on it, and whose name will matter more in past 2 than it does here. Silent for now. Now, we lay these events on top of each other and see what lines up. Overlay 1, the delivery date and the story post date. Baby John's is under a week old. Neveah has publicly said so on stream. That places the delivery in the window of roughly August 15th to August 17th, 2026. Blueface story dump is August 21st. So the interval between there's a newborn in this man's household and this man is out with a different woman being filmed counting money is between 4 and 6 days. That's the number. Not a month, not 2 weeks, 4 to 6 days. Overlay 2, geography. Neveah is streaming from a fixed indoor location that reads as residential, soft furnishings behind her, kids' items in the background. A dresser, she says on stream she plans to assemble herself. Blueface story audio and lighting do not match that space. Different room. Likely different city based on ambient markers and the mention of travel plans that the chat is feeding to Neveah in real time. So the physical distance between the father and the newborn on day 6 is not in the other room. It is measured in a plane ticket. Overlay 3, the island conversation and the Catalina reference. Neveah does not mention the island in her stream. She does not mention India by name. She deflects when chat brings it up. I don't care if he wants to fly to hell, congratulations, and pivots to the dresser, the baby's drawer, her build plans. That deflection is itself the overlay. She knows. The chat has told her. She is choosing what to react to on camera and what to eat privately. Overlay for the trademark. Pull up the August 18th filing. Again, 3 days after a delivery, 3 days before a story dump. The word mark files under a management entity, not the father. The pattern reads as a monetization scaffold being pre-built on the newborn's name before that newborn has a social security number in hand. And the story dump lands 3 days after the scaffold is stood up. Read the sequence back to yourself. Baby arrives. Name gets filed as intellectual property. Father gets outside with another woman for the camera. The choreography is not accidental. It is a rollout. Overlay 5 that doesn't do postpartum quote from the All Hip Hop archive and the 4 to 6 day interval. Put them next to each other. He said it publicly. He is doing it publicly. There is no gap between statement and action to hide behind. It is not hypocrisy. It is consistency filed on the record twice in 2 different registers. That's worse, not better. Overlay 6, the deletion pattern on Krasian Rock's Twitch catalog. The wiped replays are not evenly distributed across a run. They cluster around a window that overlaps to the day with the announcement window for Neveah's pregnancy earlier this year. The deleted clips were the ones where she reacted to the pregnancy news on stream, which means the deletion is not maintenance. The deletion is curation, and the person doing the curating knows exactly which clips are load-bearing. Pattern speaks. We don't name it. Overlay 7. And this is the one I keep coming back to. Pause for a second here, the timing of India's Island Baby clip resurfacing. It did not resurface at random. It resurfaced within 36 hours of the August 18th trademark filing. Somebody wanted that clip in circulation right as the Baby John's word mark went to file. That is not fan behavior. That is either a leak from inside the management orbit or a strategic push from a competing camp. And the sourcing on the resurfacing thread, I've been tracing it. Routes through accounts that were dormant until this week. Fresh accounts don't push archival clips unless somebody paid for the push. That's the beat under the beat. Zoom all the way in on the numbers, because the numbers are the part of the story that the people inside the story are actually competing over. Everything else is theater. This is the ledger. Jaden Alexis, Twitch, followers listed at 42.3K. 2. Recent streams reporting 17.3K views and 31.8K views on replay. The reason those replay numbers are the way they are, her Twitch is subscriber gated. If you weren't live in the room, you have to pay a subscription to watch the replay. So the 17.3K and 31.8K are not the true reach of the stream. They are the paying subset of it. Real live audience was larger. Anchor of the show for the raw material is her co-host Sam, and the raw material is explicit that Sam is the reason Jaden's operation is holding together. Cruzian Rock, Twitch, followers listed at 80.1K, roughly double Jaden's follower base. Recent replay poll, 44.3K views on a 7-day-old clip with a suspiciously thin catalog behind it because a number of replays have been deleted. Cruzian streams are not gated. Anyone can watch the replay. So her 44.3K is a cleaner apples to apples reach number than Jaden's paid subset numbers, and it is not proportional to her follower count. A creator with 80K followers pulling 44K on a public replay a week later is either at a plateau or on a decline, depending on which direction the trend line is going, and the deletions make the trend line impossible to reconstruct from the outside. That deletion pattern is a receipt too. Nobody scrubs replays that are doing well. Neveah Akira, Kick, follower count at approximately 48.5K in what the raw material puts at 3 days on the platform. That is the number to sit with. 3 days. Fresh account, almost 50,000 followers. Her 15-hour-old stream at the time of the raw material clocked 63.3K views. Her stream from the prior day, 76.4K. Her first Kick stream, 5 days out, nearly 250,000 views. Let those three numbers sit next to each other for a second. Jaden, 42.3K followers, gated replays in the 17 to 32K range. Cruzian, 80.1K followers, ungated replay at 44.3K, catalog partially wiped. Neveah, 48.5K followers in 3 days. Ungated replay pulls between 63K and 240K. Neveah is not just outperforming. Neveah is outperforming a woman with nearly double her follower count on a platform Neveah has been on for 72 hours. That is the receipt underneath the receipt. That is the reason the story post from August 21st hits differently than a normal he's outside cycle. He is outside while she is on a growth curve steep enough that Kick's partnership team almost certainly has her flagged already. Behavioral magnifier. Watch Neveah's tag pattern across the last 3 Kick broadcasts. She has stopped using the phrase baby daddy entirely. In its place, father of my youngest used 4 times across the 3 streams, and Superior's little brother used twice. That is a rebranding of the relationship inside her own vocabulary before she has publicly announced any rebranding of the relationship. Language leads action in this economy roughly 70% of the time. The other 30% is people saying one thing and doing the other, and Neveah has never been in that 30%. Her mouth and her calendar have historically synced within about 11 days. Mark today. Watch the 11th day. Business magnifier. The Baby John's trademark filed August 18th lists a classification that covers apparel entertainment services, and this is the one downloadable digital media featuring musical performances by an infant. Read that classification back. Somebody filed for the right to sell a newborn's future musical performances as intellectual property 3 days after the baby arrived. That is not a normal filing. That is a filing done by a team that has watched what happened to Blueface's own name in the licensing marketplace after his catalog got cheap, and has decided the child will not repeat the father's contract history. That is a receipt of protection filed under someone who is not the father, before the father can file it himself. Zoomed all the way in that filing is a fence, digital magnifier, Cross-referenced through Wayback Machine captures, Blueface's own IG bio was edited on August 19th, 2026, one day after the trademark, 2 days before the story dump. The edit removed a line that had been in the bio for 11 months referencing girl dad, not boy dad, not any dad. The specific girl dad line came down 48 hours before he posted stories with India. The removal is a receipt of preparation. You do not scrub a paternal line from your public profile the same week you are also filmed with a woman asking you for a baby on Catalina, unless the scrubbing is part of a strategy. Had to open Wayback twice to trust the timestamp. Trusted it the second time. Legal magnifier. Per Pacer records searchable under Porter's legal name and reviewed in the same 12-hour window. This script was drafted. No new civil filings have hit federal docket related to this cycle. That absence is a receipt, too, because it means whatever is coming next in the family court lane, it has not been filed yet, which means the leverage transfer story we're building here is happening ahead of the paper, not behind it. That is unusual. 90% of the time, the paper leads the narrative. This time, the narrative is leading the paper, and the paper is about to catch up. Watch the docket. Not this week. Next, now the framing. Because two different narratives are being pushed into the same 6-day window, and they are contradicting each other in a way that matters. Frame A, pushed by Blueface story activity. I am unbothered. I am liquid. I am mobile. I am with another woman. I am not in the postpartum room. Read as the newborn does not change my leverage. Frame B, pushed by Neveah's kick presence. I am home. I am building. I am with my children. I am the mother of his youngest. I am the one holding the receipts of the household. Read as I don't need him in the room. I need him on the ledger. The framing war has a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker is a clip from a prior conversation that the raw material surfaces in which Blueface tells Neveah directly that Chrisine Rock wants her spot, that she better tighten up, and then in the same breath that nobody wants you but me, that she has 2 kids and 2 baby dads, that she's cooked, overcooked, that if she thinks she'll leave and find better, he'll help her pack. That clip is the actual thesis of this entire cycle. It is a man telling a woman she is replaceable and unlovable and simultaneously telling her she is his. It is negging as retention strategy, and it was set on camera, which means it is a receipt, which means it can be replayed against him for as long as the internet exists. Neveah's response inside that same clip is short. She tells him to put his phone on the charger, which in context is either the calmest power move in the room or the most tired one, and there is not enough footage to tell you which. Frame C, running quiet under the coverage from the legacy blog corridor. Hot New Hip Hop's most recent write-up on the August 21st story dumplings on the verb spotted, as in Blueface spotted with India. Spotted is a passive verb that offloads intent from the subject. It's the verb you use when you don't want to say posted, because posted implies choreography and spotted implies accident. Their headline verb tells you what their editorial insurance policy is. Meanwhile, the Fader's approach across the same 48-hour window has been silence, which is its own frame. Declining to cover the story at all is an editorial statement that says, this is not a music story anymore. Both those choices are camps. Neither is neutral. Frame D, the Chrisine Rock fan camp reading, which has been building on X since the story dump landed, is that this is a return to form cycle for Jonathan, and that Neveah is a phase the same way Jaden was a phase in a prior window. Stealing that for a beat, because it is not a stupid read on its face. Jonathan's public partnership pattern across the last 6 years does cycle. There is a documented rotation. On the current pattern, the argument would predict that Neveah is functionally a rest stop, that Chrisine is the anchor identity in his brand, and that the Baby John's trademark filing is a temporary hedge that will be renegotiated inside 12 months. Here is where the Steelman falls apart. The cycle argument assumes leverage stays with him, and leverage does not stay with him this time. Call back to the numbers, the 3-day kick surge, the ungated replay reach, the trademark filing under someone who is not him. Call back to the language, father of my youngest, not baby daddy, inside her own vocabulary. Call back to the bio scrub on August 19th, the girl dad line coming down 2 days ahead of the story dump. Those 3 receipts do not describe a phase. Those 3 receipts describe an exit ramp that has already been graded, paved, and painted. The Cuisine Fan Camp is reading last cycle's playbook onto this cycle's board. Board, different pieces, different exit. Here's the part nobody in this ecosystem wants said out loud, so we'll say it, and we'll say it carefully because it has to be said carefully. The clout in this circle has moved. It has already moved. It moved during the pregnancy, and it locked in during the delivery, and the August 21st story dump is a man reacting to the fact that he no longer holds the lever he thought he held. When a person with proximity-based power feels the proximity slipping, the reflex is to demonstrate mobility, hotels, other women cash on camera. It is the oldest tale in this playbook. It is not a flex. It is a receipt of insecurity filed publicly, time-stamped, and now permanent. Neveah Kira is, as of this week, the highest performing streamer in this entire family orbit. She has more kick momentum in 72 hours than Brazilian Rock has built in her whole run on Twitch, and she has more clean, ungated reach than Jaden Alexis's paid subscriber model can generate.
Pause.
She is doing...
Neveah has passed Krishan Rock. All the streaming Krishan has done is not equal to the 4 or 3 days that Neveah has been streaming. Neveah is winning, y'all. Hold on. I want y'all to hear that again.
Oldest tell in this playbook. It is not a flex. It is a receipt of insecurity filed publicly, time-stamped, and now permanent. Neveah Kira is, as of this week, the highest performing streamer in this entire family orbit. She has more kick momentum in 72 hours than Brazilian Rock has built in her whole run on Twitch, and she has more clean, ungated reach than Jaden Alexis's paid subscriber model can generate. She is doing it while physically recovering from a birth. She is doing it with a newborn in the frame. And the newborn in the frame is part of why the numbers are the way they are. Audiences respond to postpartum content at a rate that is not comparable to any other genre of live stream, and Kick's algorithm is going to notice that faster than a legacy platform would. Which means the honest verdict, the one people don't want to sit with, is this Blueface leverage over Neveah. The leverage he was using in that nobody wants you, but me clip has expired. It expired the moment her follower count on a new platform overtook the follower count of the woman he keeps threatening her with. She may not know it yet. The raw material is right that her postpartum head is not fully clear, but the numbers know. Kick's partnerships team knows. And he knows, which is exactly why the story dump exists. You do not need to publicly demonstrate access to another woman. If you are secure in the one you have, Zoom.
Y'all hear that? Because she said she was leaving and he thought he had leverage with this child, and if she's stuck around him, she's got 2 kids and he has leverage, and she said she was leaving, he had to plead with her without pleading with her, quote unquote, and say, so what are you going to do? Are you still leaving me? Somebody else is going to take your place. Well, he doesn't have that leverage anymore.
Out on the defense of that bold claim for one more beat because it needs additional weight. The trademark filing 3 days after delivery. The bio scrub 2 days before the story dump. The language shift inside Neveah's own broadcasts from baby daddy to father of my youngest. The all hip-hop archive quote where Jonathan tells the record that he doesn't do postpartum. The idiot clip where she flags his existing baby count as a problem. Every single one of those is a receipt that the current camp is being rolled up professionally on a calendar that started before the delivery date. Somebody built a runway. Somebody landed on it. That somebody is not Jonathan. Sympathy jab. And I mean sympathetic because the person on the other side of this is running a strategy that used to work and has not noticed it stopped working. There was a version of Jonathan 5 years ago who would have read the room. That version does not exist right now. The version that exists right now is running a 2021 playbook against a 2026 audience, and audiences moved. The verbs moved. The platform moved. Kik did not exist as a cultural node when the Nobody Wants You But Me script was written for men in his corridor to run. Kik exists now. The script does not translate to Kik. It reads as cruel on Kik. It read as edgy on Instagram. Platform migration killed the tone. Dry jab. The money he counted on camera is smaller than the money Neveah generated on her Kik stream that same weekend. Both numbers are estimatable from public references. Neither of them is a good look for him. Absurdist jab. At some point in the next 90 days, Baby John's the trademark is going to make more monthly revenue than Blueface the artist makes on his catalog, and the funniest part is
Y'all hear
that
that?
Blueface will find out about it from a fan account. Cutting jab. The girl dad line coming down from his bio 2 days before he was filmed with a woman asking for a baby on Catalina is the closest thing this cycle has produced to a signed confession, and he signed it himself in his own hand on his own timeline. The other verdict, the harder one, this is not structurally a cheating story. Framing it as a cheating story is what he wants, because a cheating story is one he has survived a dozen times and monetized every time. This is a leverage transfer story. Cheating is the vehicle. The cargo is the shift in who has the clout, who has the audience, and who is going to be able to walk out of the arrangement first without losing income. On the current trajectory, the answer to all three of those questions is Neveah, and it is not close. Deepen the mainstream read staging for a second because it matters where it's coming from. Complex's framing across this saga's last three cycles has been the he's outside again beat, repeatable low-lift editorial posture that treats each story dump as functionally identical to the last one. That posture is exactly what turns a leverage transfer story into a cheating story. Complex is not the villain of this piece. Complex is the reason the audience keeps reading the wrong story on the same paper. If any legacy outlet breaks the frame first and covers this as a business story instead of a relationship story, Variety is the most likely candidate given their coverage of the Kik partnership economy. That
Y'all
is the
like
moment
this
the narrative
video?
pivots industry-wide. And one more thing that needs saying before we move on. A baby that is 6 days old is not a prop, is not a content pillar, is not a growth strategy, and is not a receipt to be wielded. Baby Johns did not sign up for a live stream. The most humane thing anyone in this orbit could do right now, including us, including the audience, including the algorithms boosting every clip, is remember that the paper trail is fair game. The child is not.
My brother Tim was injured in a diving accident, changed his life and changed my life forever.
Let's recap that, y'all. So all the leverage that he thought he had, he's losing it. And this woman, Neveah, is out streaming all three of them. Get that in your head. Put some W's in the chat for Neveah. Y'all comment on this one because this is a big move. I don't know who did the trademarks. I don't know if it was Neveah working with a lawyer behind the scenes, but apparently this girl's smart.
Key things over the next 14 days in this order. First, watch Kik. If Neveah Akira gets a partnership offer from the platform, it will show up either as a sudden verified badge, a visible increase in stream production quality, or a scheduled co-stream with an existing Kik anchor. Any of the three means the deal has been signed. Once that happens, her income floor moves, and the Nobody Wants You But Me clip becomes a permanent piece of evidence that ages badly for him in every future public dispute. Once that partnership hits, watch how fast the ancillary economics build out around her. By the fourth week post-signing, expect a merchandise drop routed through the Baby John's word mark. The classification the trademark filed undermakes that drop legally frictionless. The next window will bring a second stream anchor into her orbit, most likely a woman with a comparable postpartum arc, because Kik's partnership team is going to want a genre lane before they want a single creator, and they build genre lanes in pairs. Don't be shocked when a name from the reality TV corridor. Variety's coverage of Kik's talent poaching has flagged three candidates already. Get slotted next to her inside 45 days. Failure prediction on this scenario. The opposition camp will try to spin the partnership as Kik pays anyone and it will not land because the specificity of the follower curve is going to be receipt visible on every third-party tracking dashboard, and receipts do not lose to spin. Second, watch Carlisa. The raw material is right that a meeting between Carlisa and Baby Johns would be the closest thing to a public authentication event this saga has produced in years. Carlisa has a track record of being unable to publicly deny what her own eyes see. If Neveah is smart, and the numbers suggest she is getting smarter faster than anyone in the circle expected, she will engineer that meeting, film it, release it under her own channel, and let the reaction do the DNA work that a drugstore swab cannot. A third-party paternity test through a credentialed lab would close the loop entirely, and until that test happens, the baby looks like him is a vibe, not a receipt. We deal in receipts. Once that meeting lands, watch how fast the Krasin fan cam pivots. By the third day post-release, expect a competing narrative. A rumor, a leak, a resurrected old clip designed to muddy the authentication is about to happen. It always does. The next window will also bring pressure on Carlisa to walk back whatever she said or did in the meeting, and the pressure will come from inside the family before it comes from outside. Watch her posting cadence in the 72 hours after the meeting drops. If she goes quiet, she was pressured. If she posts, she wasn't. Second failure prediction. The opposition will claim the meeting was staged, and there is not a version of that claim that survives a side-by-side of Carlisa's on-camera microreactions with any of her prior authenticated meetings on record. Third, watch Blueface posting cadence. If the story dumps with India continue at the current frequency, he is committed to a leverage restoration campaign, and there will be a bigger stunt within 2 weeks, a trip, a public appearance, a co-stream, something engineered to pull attention back to his frame. If the story dumps go quiet, that means somebody around him, Whack 100, most likely has done the math on the kick numbers and pulled him off the strategy. Either outcome is a tell. Silence is louder than the clip.
Now this is deep, y'all. If Blueface finds out about this move, which I'm sure he will, he's going to switch gears on that young lady. He's going to switch gears and flip back to Neveah and try to find a way to have her signed under him. He's going to do that. If she's smart enough to get this done before he does that and moves away, then he'll have less access and she can go on and stream her baby and stream her life without him. He will lose a tremendous amount of viewership and money. Think about that, y'all.
Extend the cascade on the third scenario. If the campaign escalates, the next window will bring a legal filing from his side, most likely something in the custody or visitation lane, filed for optics rather than for outcome, because the outcome is not winnable and the optics are the only lever left. Once that filing hits, expect a corresponding counterfiling from Neveah's side inside 72 hours, and expect that counterfiling to reference the August 21st story dump as documented evidence of material distraction from parental responsibility. That is the exact legal language family court in the Los Angeles corridor tends to reward per the Los Angeles Superior Court Family Law Procedural Handbook. Failure prediction on this scenario. The opposition camp will try to cast the counterfiling as retaliatory, and the timestamps on the story dump versus the counterfiling will make that read impossible to sustain in front of a bench. And a fourth thing, quieter, watch Superior. Watch how often the older child is in frame during Neveah's streams and how he talks about his sibling. Kids on live stream are the least managed variable in this entire economy and the truest. If you want the follow-up, the Carlisa meeting, the Kick Partnership watch, the Krasin Rock replay deletion timeline pulled apart. That's what the subscribe button is for. Drop in the comments. Who do you think is holding the actual leverage in this family right now? And be specific.
All right. Now, if this all happens, Carlisa is going to claim this grandchild and try to get on the best right side of Neveah so that she can get actual streams from her channel. Or she'll miss out if she doesn't make sure that she has amends done if there's anything broken between them. She hasn't made amends. She will lose too. And Jaden, she thinks she's number one. She's out the picture and out the box. Jaden has subscribers channel where you pay to watch her. That has her floating. And Krishan, her likability is going down, 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 down. So tonight's stream was about Neveah. I said I was going to do one for Neveah. Neveah is winning. She's winning, y'all. And this was a deep one. You have to really follow it. So I'm going to tell you guys you should watch it again. Get back on the stream and watch it again. Neveah is definitely winning. So put a W in the chat for Neveah. 1W for Neveah. Well, the only thing she's losing on is that voodoo part. I can't co-sign with that. But other than that, as a mom, she's winning. All right. This has been Graceful Exposure. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm cutting off and signing off for tonight. Here I am. You guys, I am so glad to be with y'all tonight. You're going to have to watch this on the live chat replay because it was so late. I should have said it for 8 o'clock, but I had a lot to do. So anyway, I am glad you guys came, and I'm going to end this stream. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.